Echlin, and we have here with us in the studio the director of SYC Youth Court, Tracy Hillhouse Price, to tell us more about Youth Court in the state of Alaska.
Hi, Jillian. Well, SYC Youth Court is actually one of 12 youth courts in the state of Alaska. We have youth courts in Anchorage, Bethel, Juneau, Kenai, Ketchikan, Kodiak, Mat-Su, Nome, North Slar/Fairbanks, Valdez, and Wrangell. Anchorage is actually the oldest youth court in the state and is considered the founding sort of mother of youth courts in Alaska. Anchorage and Mat-Su are the largest of the state. Valdez and Bethel are considered emerging youth courts, which means they're just now trying to start up their programs and keep them going. And then actually, SYC Youth Court is larger than Juneau's Youth Court when it comes to membership, and we're about the same size as Ketchikan. Now, these 12 youth courts make up the United Youth Courts of Alaska, which is a nonprofit which serves to assist the various youth courts with education, training, and expertise. And what's so great about having these various youth courts in the state of Alaska is that we have many members in SYC Youth Court that actually come from communities with youth courts who attend Mount Edgecombe. And so when they go back home during the summer or in their vacation, they're actually able to participate in these other youth courts because they've already had training here in SYC. They can do it back home. And so they can do it year-round, which is very nice for them, and also get to experience different types of crimes and how other youth courts handle them. Now, each year, the United Youth Courts of Alaska host an annual conference. The various youth courts take turns hosting it. This past November, I took 5 of our members to Kenai for the conference. Some of the guest speakers included Alaska's Supreme Court Justice, Dana Fabe, Alaska's Attorney General, Dan Sullivan, and the Director of Division Juvenile Justice, Steve McComb. And at these conferences, it's an opportunity for the various youth courts to share their experiences. It's for members to meet other members of different communities, find out how they do things, and to really share their experiences, and then also work on getting new tools to bring back to their home youth courts and use those in the court. This year, the United Youth Courts of Alaska is working on finding sustainable funding for youth courts across the state through Senate Bill 257 and House Bill 331. Peggy Wilson is a sponsor on the House bill. Now, what these bills would do would section off 25% of criminal fines from the court system, and then they'd be distributed through the Division of Juvenile Justice through a matrix that's already in place from the Division of Juvenile Justice, so it would not be adding another layer of government whatsoever. And I may say 25% of criminal fines, and most people don't know how much exactly that means or how much criminal fines are collected in the state of Alaska. Over the years, it's about $1 million per year, so about 25%, we figured it's about $300,000 a year, and of course that's going to vary over the years depending upon how much is collected by the court system. Now, United Youth Courts of Alaska, we have run the numbers, and the 12 youth courts around the state handle about 1,000 cases per year. And each case a youth court handles for the Division of Juvenile Justice saves the state of Alaska a net of $10,700. So although youth courts are asking for money for a state duty, they still would be saving the state about $750,000 a year. In addition to the financial savings, youth courts are also helping the state with the reoffense rates and the crime rates across the state. The reoffense rate for youth courts is about 10.6%, and comparing that to the regular juvenile justice system, that is about 23% for the reoffense rate. So there's a considerable difference with sending youths through the juvenile justice system versus sending them through the youth court, and using a theory that it's justice for youths by youths. Now, citing 5 evidence-based studies, the Washington State Institute for Public Policy found that youth courts reduce crime rates by 11.1%. That is the overall crime rate, not just the juvenile crime rate. Now, what's also very interesting about youth courts is that they actually serve 2 groups. Now, I've spoken a lot about the defendants and what they do for the defense going through youth court, but we also serve the youths who are involved in youth court. I mentioned earlier about our youth attorneys and judges. Now, they are given an amazing opportunity to get hands-on legal experience at a younger age. I mean, they wouldn't be practicing law or in normal circumstances, but here they are. They get cases. They learn about aggravators, mitigators, They have to write what?
Which are?
Oh, aggravators and mitigators. Aggravators add time to a sentence, and mitigators subtract time. So A for add, M for minus. And an example of an aggravator would be that the defendant committed a crime against someone they have a trusted relationship with. So maybe they were babysitting and they stole some money from the family that they babysit for, and that's a trusted relationship. Or it could be that they have a history of trouble, so it's not the first time they've gone into trouble. A mitigator would be they have no history of trouble, they're under the age of 15, they are peer pressured into it. So we really look at the circumstances and see how that can affect the sentence. And then these youths that we have that are involved as members, everything they do is community work service hours. And so they actually are giving back to the community in a considerable way. And also, as I said, they learn so much about the legal system. In SYC, we have meetings twice a month for our members that are actually not really meetings so much as continuing education classes. And that's the same things that attorneys have to go to, so we hold them to high standards. We actually have the SYC Bar Association's been very kind with the members donating their various amounts of time. We have had guest speakers come in from the legal community. Jude Pate and Jean Seaton came and talked to our youths about aggravators and mitigators and how to apply them and try to do it in a fair manner. So that's a very hard thing to do. And then also they go over the how to argue them and refute them, because just because the prosecution thinks that something should be an aggravator doesn't necessarily mean that the defense agrees with that. So they need to learn how to refute the other side's aggravators and mitigators in a nice manner, so you don't want to be too overly zealous. And then also we've had Britta Sparks come in and speak to our students about civil law, because all of our students, they are used to criminal law. That's what they're studied. That's what they're trained to learn about. They don't really get to see the other side of the law, the civil side. And then we also have had Teresa Hillhouse, the city attorney, come in and help out with the trainings that we've had. And then also there's Magistrate Horton, who's been wonderful with his support for youth court.
Well, thank you, Tracy. And tell us one more time, if someone wants to participate, how can they go do that?
Well, they can either stop by Community Schools office at Blatchley Middle School. That's where I am operating from. They can also give me a call at 738-8624 or send an email to SYC all one word, all lowercase, at gmail.com. And then also, if they really would like to see youth court in action, please do come to our swearing in and our mock sentencing for a theft in the 4th degree this coming Tuesday, March the 2nd at 7 p.m.
And that's at the courthouse?
That is at the courthouse, that's correct.
All right, well, thank you for just joining us. We're listening to Tracy Hillhouse Price, who is the director of SYC Youth Court.